glasses. Hello, welcome to Glasses Zero, Jay. And I am here with, I believe, Luci, is it?
Yes, Luci.
Fantastic, Luci. So we're up here at BlueTeamCon in Chicago on the last day out in this wonderful chill-out room. Actually, we're actually in front of some TVs. We've got, the NES silly little console they came out with. It's got lag. So basically just doing a little bit of a conference wrap-up and talk with people about their experiences. And I think this is your first hacker conference, right?
Yeah, first conference ever.
So what brought you originally wanting to come to BlueTeamCon?
So I just heard so much stuff about conferences in general, like DEF CON, Black Hat, like all that type of stuff. And when I heard in one of the Discords that I'm in that there's a conference like happening right here, like pretty soon, and the tickets were only like $40 because I was a student, I just decided, why not, just see what it's about. It's relevant to the field that I'm trying to go to. And that's what got me into it initially.
Yeah, I remember this was DEF CON 20, so God, what DEF CON was this year? So this was maybe 12 years ago. But DEF CON 20 was my first DEF CON, and that was one of the things too, is I was actually a part-time help desk at my local community college. And, I was like, I want to get into hacking, I want to get into Infosec and do this stuff. And I'd already been seeing talks on YouTube. I had been participating in little capture the flag things online or little puzzles, but hadn't really tried my hand at a whole lot. And I just went, I'm just going to go to DEF CON. So I went to DEF CON, and one of the first things I did was actually go to the capture the flag. They had an open CTF, and so I sat down and joined a team, and we worked on stuff. We ended up winning, but I maybe solved 2 puzzles.
You contributed.
Yeah, I did. There was that. I was the one wearing sunglasses at the table, so I was able to see the QR code on the screen and everything, because they had taken like the LCD screen, and they had taken the polarization out.
Yeah.
And so, but if you look to the right, the lines that are in one of the screen faces, you started to see a QR code. And so I took my sunglasses, which do have polarization, took a photo. God, was this even when I had a smartphone? I may have just had a flip phone. And I had taken a picture and uploaded it to my computer, and then I did a reverse on it. So then it was a real QR code, and then we decoded that and went to a link and all that. Anyway, so that was like one that I solved. And then, but it was really cool. And I just learned so much just by being there and getting that experience and going to different tables, sitting down at the Wall of Sheep and doing some stuff. And
I remember Wall of Sheep from my first DEF CON 3 years ago. This year was my second.
Cool. We have an audience, so we just got someone from random. That's awesome. We love that.
If you don't mind enlightening me, what is the Wall of Sheep?
Oh, the Wall of Sheep. So the Wall of Sheep is essentially on the DEF CON Wi-Fi. They are monitoring all of the traffics. And so if you are on the free Wi-Fi and, for instance, you're going out and putting your passwords into apps or different things and it's in clear text. So think 13 years ago, there was a whole hell of a lot less HTTPS going on.
Right.
And so a lot of things were HTTP clear text. And so it was kind of an education moment to say, hey, remember all these websites you went to, like eHarmony or maybe some other things? You just put in your dating app password, or you just put in your this website password. Hey, here's a bank, and you just put in your password there, and here's the first 3 characters of that password. And it would literally just show people's passwords up there.
That's sick.
And it's kind of fun to be up there, and you're like, oh. So it's not the Wall of Shame, it's the Wall of Sheep. And now they've kind of turned it into Packet Hacking Village, and you can go and learn how to sniff the wire and, kind of do PCAPs and forensics on network and everything like that. So they've kind of got capture the packet, so you can do capture the flag based on packet analysis, and you just jack into their little network and sniff and do all sorts of fun stuff. So it's a
cool.
it's a fun little activity.
Right.
But yeah, so that's Wall of Sheep. But so I went and did all that kind of stuff, and then came back. I think the laptop I used for that was like an old square resolution HP. I still have it. And I used Backtrack version 2 or something. Like, no, it was Backtrack 5. Yeah, so no, or whatever the last version of Backtrack was before it went to Kali.
Yeah.
I had that loaded on a CD, and that was my live boot CD. And so you had one of those, you press a button and it actually goes, and you put in your CD and pop it in. And I booted off that and ran Backtrack back in the day. So it was in the last bit of the generation that did that.
Right.
Because everyone else now uses live USB, or they've already preloaded some VM, or you're running a VM or something. So
right. That's wild.
Yeah. So So what are some things you've done here at BlueTeamCon?
Honestly, mostly gone to talks.
Hey.
Just because it's my first conference.
There's talks at a conference? What?
I know. Honestly, just kind of intimidated by just stuff and everything. I mean,
so what intimidates you? Like, is just the sheer amount of knowledge there is?
It's just people everywhere, vendors everywhere. It's just
the people anxiety thing. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, especially as I'm 21 years old. Everybody here is probably like in their 30s, 40s, or whatever.
I think you'd be surprised. There's a lot of college people here too.
I have seen those. Yeah, it's just I just feel so out of place a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was mostly the talks. The ones that I went to were great. There's actually one I was looking forward to. I think it was Path Traversal to Open Source. That's happening today. Actually, don't know when it would be right now, technically, but it's fine. It's probably
okay.
Fine.
Any topics so far that have been like, ooh, that's interesting, and you want to do more digging into, or?
Honestly, the most interesting one was actually the one that I was just at. It was paralysis without analysis. It was just, I don't know why, I'm just kind of a sucker for like methodology.
Okay.
And just like having a process to doing your thing.
There's some people who are going to love you. I mean, I'm a sucker for methodology myself. Like, one of the things, especially when you're trying to learn something, I tell people it's not so much that you know how to use the tool. It's not so much that you know how to use a particular tool. It's how do you use that in a greater context of the methodology? Right?
How does that fit into
exactly? So when I teach people how to do something like Hack the Box or try Hack Me, and you're trying to hack into a system, it's like, okay, where do you start? Well, now you're starting to talk methodology. It's like, how do you go? What are the things you need to do in a reconnaissance to figure out that way in?
Yeah.
Okay, now what are the things that you're going to do to exploit to get that way in? And okay, now that you're in, now what? So now we're going to move around, or maybe maintain a persistence, upgrade our level, or elevate our privileges, and what's our ultimate goal, and how do we get there and get out without being detected? So there's kind of this methodology of how do you go about doing that, and that's more important to learn, because that's going to guide you on what's the next step. Incident response, same way. I've got a ticket. Where is the attacker in their methodology? Where are they going next? Where should I look to see, how did this all start? And, having that methodology is going to help you contextualize, again, that where am I going next? What tool do I need to use next? Regardless of what tool it ends up being, that there's a tool to use, or there's a technique to try now to go to that next thing. So it's actually really good. You've already learned that methodology.
Yeah.
That's what really matters.
Yeah, because I realized that everybody could just learn some tools or some scripts. I don't know.
And the tools change.
Yeah, pull up limpys and let it do all the work or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just more interested in knowing what to look for, having that process and everything, just so it's more not super niche knowledge with a tool or whatnot, but just broader.
You want something you can repeat, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's just that, that one trick to do with that tool.
Right,
okay, fine. But if you've learned it as part of you've contextualized it into a methodology, that's something you can repeat.
Right.
regardless of the tool or technique you're going to try.
Right. And even if you learn like a million tricks, you'll probably lose like half of them. Not lose, but like forget.
Yeah.
That's the word.
And the tools do change. Like we've stopped using tools. I've stopped using tools probably more than I think I do. But we've stopped using tools over the years. InMap we still have. And OWASP Zap we still have, but there's been a lot of tools that I maybe used for maybe a couple of years, and then another one came out way better, or someone stopped maintaining that project and they moved on to something else, or we don't. Snort still gets used out there, Suricata still gets used out there, but like Cisco bought essentially Snort or SourceFire, and that's now Cisco, and so people have changed some of the things they're doing, but the methodology doesn't really change.
Right, like it's
just how you work, whatever tool you're working.
Right. Same result or similar-ish result in the end. Right.
Exactly. The tools now have only made it faster to execute that methodology. So like malware reverse engineering, God, we would have loved back 13 years ago to have the sandboxing we have today. Before it was you actually had to load up in some machine, and you probably got IDA Pro out, and you probably started doing reverse engineering on a binary and pull out strings manually and like do all this stuff and be like, oh God, is this malware or not? And what is it doing? And how do I, figure out what it's trying to reach out to?
Right.
Now you load up Joe Sandbox or any run and upload it, and it does all that for you. And then you have that answer. And it's like, that is fantastic. So now it's worth it to say, hey, I do malware analysis. And my brain still goes back to, wow, you spend that much time? No, I just upload it there, and then I go and I'm like, oh, okay. You now have a certain level of skill that is highly specialized, abstracted away, but now it's of value. You can actually do those things, and SOCs are now able to determine, Microsoft said that was bad, but it's not doing anything bad, so we're pretty sure it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting. So, what all kinds of things did you hear about, like BlueTeamCon? I know it's your first HackerCon. Has it lived up to what you would hope it would be, or is there stuff that you're like, oh man, I didn't do this, or I wish I would have known about that. I would have maybe been a little more prepared, or?
Honestly, I kind of when it comes to these types of things, I kind of come in with zero expectations.
That's great.
Yeah, because like if you come in with like high expectations and you get, you don't get what you wanted or whatever, then you just kind of come out sad. Low expectations feels like they're not really expectations at all.
Hey, and especially when you're only paying like $40, right?
Right. Yeah.
A lot of like RSA or heck Black Hat and everything, it's hundreds of dollars just to attend the conference, and you have a lot of expectations.
Yeah,
DEF CON's $500, so it's crazy. Back in my day, 13 years ago, it was like $180 or $185. So
that's so
crazy.
You said like 15 years ago.
Yeah, that was like 13 years ago. It was like $180, and it's like now $500. So it's getting less accessible to people to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was discussed at opening ceremonies here is it's getting harder at BlueTeamCon to do everything or feel like you can get everything. You can go to talks, you can go see an unconference, maybe do an unconference stuff, but you can go to the CTF, the IoT Village, the Wellness Village, and feel like you've made some kind of significant, learning or whatever. So there are some people who go to conferences now, and you have FOMO for not going to the conference, but then you also feel FOMO at the conference because you're doing this, but you're not doing all the other things that everyone else is doing.
Right. There's like 3 talk tracks. It's like, which one do I choose?
I can't attend it all. But, can you go and watch possibly all the YouTube videos that are out there? And no, you can't. And so I think you did it right, which is, you did a little research, I think, on BlueTeamCon before you came, right?
Yeah, I looked at what it was, like what sponsors there were, and just in general, what kind of talks there were and stuff like that. That's kind of, I just did minimum research. Once again, just to come in with like zero expectations, not to be
nice
and stuff like that. I will say I am quite pleased
Yeah. Cool. I will say that's probably a good way to approach conferences, especially for a first time. Look up some information about it. See what types of events and things. I think you were on a Discord, so asking questions and saying, hey, well, what is going to happen here?
Right.
And maybe you can prepare yourself to do something, map out. In fact, I had a notepad that I wrote out, okay, I'm going to go to this talk, I'm going to go to that talk, and see that. So I think it's a great way to kind of map out your conference and what you want to do and keep it focused on what you want to do. But I think the most important thing, especially with someone, this is your first conference, have you met people? You've met me, but
right.
But have you met people and have you had interesting conversations with complete strangers yet?
Not many yet, actually. I will say. I had one. I went to the labs that were in today. I had a convo with them, but
I welcome you to do that. Even in the last couple hours of this conference, go out there to someone and literally just strike up some kind of conversation. Because so many times the things that I have learned from in conferences, it's just learning from someone else or just talking to someone else about something that's going on. And if you're in a talk, and you had a question about something, literally the person next to you going like, hey, did you understand what they talked about when they said this? And what's going on there? And they may just say, oh, I'm not sure myself, or they may give you their understanding. And it's a great way to meet people and say hi, and it may end there, or you may end up exchanging LinkedIn or friending each other on Discord or something.
Right.
And again, the relationship building and the networking is important. You might even find a mentor. You might find someone who will invest their time in helping you achieve whatever goals and things you're wanting to do out there.
Didn't even think about mentoring or anything like that. That's
and some people see mentoring as a very easy or simple thing. Some people see mentoring as a very formal relationship. And it could be anything you want it to be. But definitely it's good to find a mentor, someone who respects you, who wants the best for you, and who has experience in getting where they need to get there. I don't like getting mentors who are significantly further in their pursuit of their career than you are. Finding
feels alienating almost.
Yeah, because if you're dealing with someone who's 20 years into their career, they do not remember what it's like, and they certainly have no concept of what it's like now to learn and get into InfoSec. You want someone who is probably 5 to 8 years ahead.
I was going to say 5.
Somewhere around there. 10 starts to be the cutoff of people remembering, oh yeah, what is it like to not know what it's like. And so getting someone who's maybe 5 years ahead of you and 8 years ahead of you, that's going to be a prime person to say hey, how do I get in? And they're going to be able to at least show you how they got in, but they may also have made connections and can also get you to other people who can help. So that's the thing about having a mentor too, is you're able to leverage their network and that they've built and can do that. The only thing I just say is be careful, because there are people who take advantage of people and are not the best of people. So definitely ask them to talk to people. Say, hey, is that person any good or whatnot? So it's always good to at least kind of ask some people about that. So what are you going to do after BlueTeamCon?
After BlueTeamCon? Honestly, these past 2 days and just the week in general has been quite stressful. So
just decompress.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, maybe get high.
There we go. But you don't have to have a plan, but take that time to ruminate and kind of think.
I was going to organize my notes.
There you go.
Right. That's the one thing I was going to do, because I have a bunch on various talks and some websites I just jotted down and just haven't looked at. So
take those opportunities from the talks that you saw. If there was anything interesting, follow up on it.
Right.
Look up more about it. Right. One of the things that I'm going to be looking a little more into is threat hunting. Of course, I'm taking some stuff back to where I work, and I'm going to be looking at our threat hunting process a little more. I'm going to be looking at our remote employment fraud situation and kind of see like, what should we be looking at and thinking, and Jake Williams brought up some great things in the keynote about doing more with less and how
I did also go to that. Yeah, that was pretty
keep doing
good.
a security program with much less. And so I took a lot of notes, and so I'll probably be looking at my notes too and thinking, how can I use this where I'm at to actually get better value out of where we're at. And I really like what he had to say about automating small things within a process. Don't think about automating the whole thing.
Right. I thought that was super valuable as well, especially what was it? Set a time estimate, and if you go double over that,
that was perfect.
Yeah.
I really love that little time estimate. If you spent more than twice that amount of time, then you sunk costs. Just cut it off.
Right.
Move on to something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I can even think about like some of my personal projects of like automating things, like little things. I don't know. I wanted to set up like Google Calendar events from the CLI, so I decided to use Python and stuff like that. And it took me like 2 days to do it, and I was like, I don't know if that was the best use of my time, but now I know.
I once tried to set up Cuckoo Sandbox, and I think I spent a whole of 24 actual hours on it, and still could not get anything to run right or do anything the way I needed it to. And so I literally just abandoned it. And in fact, it's one of the first videos of this channel was me trying to, for hours upon hours, try to get Cuckoo Sandbox to work. And I finally just came to the conclusion of it's a sunk cost. Some people can get this to work, and great, good on you. I can't. I'm going to move on to something else.
Right.
And this is not a valid project for me. So I've got other ideas and other projects. So
right.
It's a great lesson to learn early on. Is when are you spending too much time on something, and when in an investigation, are you going down a rabbit hole, and are you spending too much time? Is there other things we now need to maybe focus on and look at?
Right.
That can really refresh you. So, but it was fantastic. Thanks for being on and sharing that experience. I look forward to sitting with some other people and chatting. But this has been a good little wrap up for BlueTeamCon. And hopefully other people get to come and see it if it's your first con, or you've been having the FOMO from other people talking about it.
It's great.
It's great. I like it. I've been here 4 times now, so come up and see us next year. And I think BlueTeamCon's also got a lot of during the year online talks and other things, so you can still stay connected on the Discord. But hopefully we'll see you next year.